Hey, hope you're doing well. This is Edward today. I want to create a new video on the topic of off-market deal flow and just generating as many deals as you can outside of your broker listing network and intermediaries you know. And I want to talk about some things that relate to scaling that process and understanding why that even happens, right? So there's a few channels that you as a business buyer have when you're buying a business. First channel you can consider is LinkedIn. Let's say you would reach out to all these business owners on LinkedIn and you create a particular list and you'd reach out to all of them. And the problem there is scalability. Essentially, you would reach out to 30, 40 people a day and that's it. And then maybe you're going to hope and pray that some of these individuals are going to connect back to you. So it's not a scalable model. Yes, you should be still doing it, but it's not a model where you're going to be able to get results right away immediately. LinkedIn, what works better is connecting to people and building a personal brand, posting as much as you can daily to be able to build an ecosystem of people that are following you and are reaching out to you and are asking you maybe questions. And again, you're building a personal brand. So that's what I think what LinkedIn is very powerful for. Um, LinkedIn is also creating an ecosystem for advertising today, which is getting very efficient, but it's getting still a little bit more expensive. So if you're willing to specifically invest a ton of into advertising, I think for buying a business, you could consider that. But again, a lot of the baby boomers looking to retire are also in Meta. So the cost is going to be typically cheaper in Meta if you're looking to deploy advertising there. The second channel will be to literally do a phone call. So you'd curate a list, you find all the owners' phone numbers, all the company's phone numbers, and you try to get over receptionists to get to the owner. And that's a very tough thing to do. First, first of all, it requires very targeted lists and very targeted phone numbers, but also it requires a very particular skill set. If you never actually done calls to businesses and you don't understand how that works, and all the intricacies and all the skill sets you need to have to be able to get to the owner and to be able to generate demand, it's a skill set that most people don't have. And it takes time to build it. It takes a lot of grit to build it. And you need to understand that if you're going to want to build that and do that, you're going to need to have guidance and you're going to need to have a professional to show you how that typically works and just kind of guide you, role play with you, get you to a point where you're getting more confident in doing it. And plus, you're going to need to daily do this. You're not going to get away with just doing 20, 30, 50 calls a day. You might need to do in the hundreds of calls a day. So if you're a corporate person and you're in a corporate world, you have a job, you don't have as much time. I mean, you might get stuck. You're not able to do 200 calls a day or 100 calls a day. So you need to start thinking about, okay, so is there an additional channel? And what I think is a fairly scalable channel, and again, it requires a lot of expertise, but I think that a more scalable channel is emails. Most people have an email that are business owners. That's a given. Two is not everybody spends time on email, but if you can create a human email that looks like a human, not like AI, and you can get in front of them at the right time fairly consistently over a 6 to 12 month period, well, what you're going to find is there's going to be sellers who sell through just getting your attention. You're going to get their attention for email. Now, what's interesting is email is quite scalable. If you, let's say, find a list of 100,000 businesses, you can actually scale your outreach to a lot of these businesses and you can automate the process, but you could also personalize it. So there's infrastructure in place, there's technology in place today where you could email with a few domains and a few email accounts. You can email up to 500 to 1,000 emails a day with not much um, complicated, I guess, email systems and infrastructure systems and team in place. So you can have a fairly small team to manage that, and you could get quite a lot of replies out of that, in between 1% to up to 5% from sellers curious about selling their company, curious about the topic of selling the business. So, what I found is if you understand how to do that properly, You could definitely get into additional deal flow aside of your broker deals and aside of your intermediaries and aside of your referrals. If you're willing to consider that and you're willing to actually do it professionally with a pro and you want to set this infrastructure up, then I highly recommend you to do it because you're going to diversify your deal flow. You're potentially going to find somebody that some people are not talking to. Again, just because people are lazy, they go on listing sites, and that's really what they do, and they wait for opportunities to come up. If you're not as proactive, they don't get to see some of these deals and some of these opportunities. So keep that in mind that you need to look for something scalable if you don't have as much time, and that's probably your best bet is setting up an infrastructure like that. I think that if you have more time and more resources even than the people who just set up email, you should combine it with LinkedIn and phone calls, of course. So it's a multi-channel approach, and this is what we do is we try to preach and set up systems like that or multi-channel for buyers in the market. But if you need more help, just send me a message on LinkedIn. I can show you a little bit more and what are the intricacies of it. But I think that one is my conclusion is you need the knowledge base, you need the tools, you need to actually put in the work because if you're not going to put in the work on top of that, nothing's going to change. So if you have the tools, the knowledge base, and you put in the work, you're going to be able to to get deals that most people don't get. And I think that if you get deals that most people don't get, you have a higher probability of closing better deals, and you're protecting yourself against different additional risks. So hope this was valuable to you. Let me know if you need more insights by just DMing me on LinkedIn. Thank you for watching.